You're a vegan, right? I'm a meat eater.
I really dislike engaging with their terms by calling yourself a meat eater. You should call yourself an omnivore because you also eat salad and vegetables. But if you really want to tick them off, you can say that you eat normally.
You're a vegan, right? I'm a meat eater. Why can't we just both live happily in each other's orbit? Why can't you let me just get on with eating meat and you eat your gruel and we'll all go home happy?
Do you believe in the climate crisis?
Yes.
Well, the animal agriculture, farming and fishing is a leading cause of the climate crisis.
You know what's also a leading cause of climate crisis? Planes which carry vast amounts of your avocados and your almonds from California and fly them thousands of miles to your table here in your vegan cafes. And then they also go in trucks. And that is an environmental hazard too. So you're not only are you killing billions of bees, you're destroying the planet. And yet you have the brass neck to sit here in between munching your almonds and your avocados and start preaching to me about how virtuous you are about not killing animals.
I think the main reason that this video is so viral is due to the fact that it hits the nail on the head when it comes to young people being uneducated. Believe it or not, most young people believe that food sprouts from the supermarket. It just manifests itself. And someone that grew up in Eastern Europe, someone that was born in Romania under communism when the Iron Curtain didn't allow much stuff to go into the nation from the outside, I can tell you that during winter, you barely had any fruits available. In fact, I remember one of the great pleasures of summer was that when one kid would come rushing up and tell all the other kids that, hey, they have cherries at the market. Because cherries were available only for 2, maybe 3 months a year. Now, I want to point out just how unnatural it is that right now I can go to the supermarket and buy bananas in the middle of the winter in a country where bananas just don't grow. So the logistics implied in order to transport the bananas from wherever into my country and then to also freeze them to make sure that they don't spoil, that costs a lot of carbon. Right? So like this whole idea of the vegan diet, that it's sustainable, it depends on what country you're in. A proper healthy vegan diet requires a lot of vegetables that probably aren't grown locally. They have to be transported to wherever you are. And it's also important to point out not all people can handle the vegan diet. Like just because you can handle it, not everyone can. When it comes to dietary habits, it's not math. It's not science. This is why some people enjoy pickles, other people hate them. Some people enjoy some foods, other people can't stand them. Everyone's body is different. So what can work for you may not work for other people. This is why I see many vegans giving up their dietary habits after 1 or 2 years. And then they go on a vegan forum and they get chastised and other people hate them for it. But they're giving up their habits not because they lack the taste of meat. They're giving up the habits because they feel sick. Like they feel that their immune system isn't responding properly, or that they become anemic, they're tired, they're fatigued. And usually you're going to get other people saying, oh, well, you don't have the proper vegan diet. That could be the case, but it could also be the fact that their bodies are not designed to survive on that type of dietary habit. And there is no conversation about that, right? Like it's black and white. It's either you're a vegan or you're not. And the people who are vegan, they consider themselves to care about the animals and save the planet. What I also noticed very interestingly is that when the European Union started pushing this concept about eating bugs and crickets, I know some people, I don't know how well spread this is within the vegan community, but I know some people that claim to be vegan, and all of a sudden they were in support of people eating the bugs. And I'm thinking like, okay, so instead of killing one cow, you're in favor of killing millions of crickets. And I never understood as to why that is. I think it's more like, for them, it's some sort of penance. I guess like doing something that you're normally not okay with doing, but you're doing it in order to show how virtuous you are. I would be really curious to see the following experiment. If in the future, let's say people can grow meat in a laboratory and it doesn't taste any different than the actual meat. So there would be no more need for keeping animals and get them to suffer. You just have like the lump of cells in the lab and it grows into the perfect steak. I'm curious if in that situations vegan would still complain. And if they would, like, why? right? Because there would be no suffering. You just create it in a lab. But I am so sure that part of the reason, and I'm not speaking for all vegans, right? But I am speaking for some that I know personally. And I can guarantee to you, like, part of the reason they are part of this ideology is simply because of the virtue signal. Like, they are trying to convince to you that they are living their life in a more quote-unquote difficult way. And because of that, they're better humans than you. And it's very similar to how some Christians do it. Again, not all Christians, but there is a very maybe small subsection of them that I have encountered in my life that, you know, they're proud that they're fasting, they're proud that they're praying, they're proud that they read the Bible, and they look down upon other people because they do not live the same life as they do, right? Now, you can say that's not what a good Christian does, but that's not the point. The point is that there is this mindset in some people, and if you take away religion from them, I believe that they find certain ideologies that they can latch onto so that they can emulate the same type of behavior, which is basically like, look at me, I'm good, you're bad. And this is probably why this video has gone viral, because Piers Morgan is definitely educating one of these vegan protesters. And I have to say, I've been to London, and I was absolutely shocked about the cult of veganism, right? Like, in Romania, it almost doesn't exist, but when I went to London, I went to steakhouses, and literally on the menu of the steakhouse, on the front page, the vegan options were presented. They weren't like somewhere down below. No, it was like front page, and every single restaurant had the same. Like, the vegan options were on the menu, on the front, even if you went to a steakhouse. Like, imagine the opposite. Imagine you're going to a vegan restaurant, and they have like the steak on the front. You know, like, hey, if you're a customer that got lost, and you happen to wander here, like, here's some steak for you. It's pretty much the same. They wanted to do the same with Burger King, I believe. Like, they wanted to ask you, what type of burger do you want? The normal one or the meat one? And this was for Burger King, I guess, to sell their Impossible Whoppers, which weren't selling. But that's a conversation for another time. So, yes, really good video from Piers Morgan. I see people in the comment bewildered that they're agreeing with him. Piers Morgan is a very intelligent dude.